But today, I just want to sit down and have a conversation about my recent vision loss. Hello, and welcome to Tea Time with Molly. I'm excited to have you. This is my pre-therapy session. I literally have to speed through filming because I have therapy in 30 minutes. And we all know Molly can easily talk for 30 minutes. And that's the edited version of my videos. You guys, I can talk for days. Before I go and sit and talk to my therapist for an hour, I'm gonna sit and talk to you for 20 minutes, give or take. Speaking of my therapist, it was very funny. The other day, my therapist recommended I try HelloFresh. You cannot make this up. She's like, have you ever considered trying HelloFresh? And I was like, funny you should say that. You can use code MollyBurke12 for 12 free meals from HelloFresh. So I want to say thank you to HelloFresh for sponsoring this video. I have worked with them once in the past doing this video where I tried to cook all my own meals and I cried. And seeing today's video title, you're probably thinking, I'm probably signing up for another Molly crying video. But no, my friends. I put on a bright lipstick. I put on a bright pink sweater vest to feel trendy, fresh, cute, and flirty this summer. And I am not gonna make this a sad video. I am not gonna cry in my second HelloFresh sponsorship. I will not do it. So that's not the video today. If you wanted to see me cry, there's plenty of other videos on this channel to do that. But today, I just wanna sit down and have a conversation about my recent vision loss. And I wanna thank HelloFresh for wanting to work with me again and sponsoring this video. This time I tried the vegetarian box. Yesterday for lunch, my kind mother / employee made me partner. It's true. Okay, we're business partners. We are business partners. That is fair. We own the business 50-50. For all those who think I drag my mother through this, she owns 50% of the company. So my mental health is intact. Now you know. My 50% business partner, Neve Burke, and mother made me this lovely lunch from HelloFresh, and it was a bocconcini and fig flatbread with a lovely side salad. My mom was like, this was so quick and easy to make. This probably would have been easy for you. And I was like, too bad that didn't come in my box last time. So I'm blind, and I'm sure if I've mentioned. Okay. Oh, short girl problem. How could I mess that up? So it just makes me feel bad about myself.
You got through, you did it.
And the tears were strictly from the onion and Aunt Flo. It was so yummy. I had the leftovers for my breakfast. It was delicious. The food is fresh, it's easy, it's quick. If you get tired of figuring out new recipes for your family, HelloFresh has got you covered. Like I said, I picked the vegetarian box this time. Last time I picked I believe it was the carb cutter box, but there's so many different options that meet a lot of different dietary needs and food preferences. So check it out. I really enjoy the food. It's very high quality, it's very flavorful. And apparently for those who cook, it is very easy to cook. So go to HelloFresh.com and use code MollyBurke12 to get 12 free meals, including free shipping. All right, so some of you might be confused by the title because you're like, Molly, I hate to break it to you, but you're blind already. So what do you mean you lost more vision? The fun of living with a progressive disease like retinitis pigmentosa, progressive meaning you lose vision slowly over time as your retina, a very important piece of the eye, and its function deteriorates, aka breaks down. So you slowly lose the ability to see. I was born legally blind, so I've always been legally blind. Though I consider my childhood my quote sighted years because I could see color, I could read print, blah, 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 blah. And then when I was a child, I slowly would go through spurts of losing vision and then having my vision stabilize. The majority of my vision loss, which is when I consider myself to have gone blind, is when I was 14 years old. That was the most significant rapid chunk of my vision loss. I was diagnosed with a form of RP called Tulip 1, which is extremely rare, and it is categorized as severe early onset blindness. In my case, I have a more severe, aggressive form of RP than a lot of other people in the community, but regardless, no two RP journeys are the same. When you live with a progressive disease, some people will go on to not even be considered legally blind until they're in their 60s, 70s, 80s. Some people will be able to drive a car until they're 30 and then lose their license. Some people will be born, with significant vision loss already. It just is all over the board. But the one thing that is the same is that when you have a progressive disease, there's no end game until you have nothing left. That's the ultimate end game. And so obviously for me, I do have light and shadow perception still. So there is still more to lose. That said, since I lost the majority of my vision at 14, it's been pretty stable. I'm now 27. If anything, since I was 14, I've noticed a slight decrease in light, but I have very good light perception. Like I can really easily see light. It's very vivid to me. I haven't really noticed significant shift other than like a slight decrease in light perception. But that was like quite a number of years ago that I really kind of noticed that, and it's been the same since. Again, the fun of having a progressive disease is for some people, it will just progressively go and go and go and go consistently till it's gone. For some people, they'll have a huge drop and it'll stable out and they'll never lose more again. For some people, they'll lose some, stabilize, lose some, stabilize, lose some, stabilize. Like it's just all over the map. You can't predict it. You don't know what's going to happen. And so about 6 weeks ago, maybe 7 weeks, 6-7 weeks ago, actually, ironically enough, when I was filming that HelloFresh video, my last HelloFresh video, super emotional, I lost more vision that week. That was a really crazy week for me. On top of losing more vision, I lost a project that I had been working on for a year and a half, a secret project that I had dedicated a year and a half to creating, got turned down that week. So you could say it was a very rough week for me. I was on my period and it was aggressive, like the worst period I've had in years. It was just overall like a really rough week. And I have not talked about my vision loss publicly since it happened because, I needed to work through it myself. I needed to feel what I was going to feel, work through it, and get to the other side in order to be able to publicly feel comfortable talking about it. Some of you who don't live with vision loss, or who knows, maybe even some of you who do, might not understand like why it would be emotional for me to lose more vision when I already barely have any. That is why. I know that the ultimate end game for me living with severe RP is total blindness, like nothing. And that's like when you have vision loss, like you get used to what you do have. So even though to sighted people or to people with more vision than me, what I have is really bad, I have adapted. I've learned to use my light perception and my shadow perception to my advantage. I've learned to find comfort in the little that I do see. So when that reality shifts again, when that changes, it's a reminder that I don't know what my future holds. I don't know what's next, and I now have to readapt. So this was the most significant shift in that I saw it like that. It was literally like somebody turned the dimmer switch down. Lights in a house when they're on a dimmer switch? It was like somebody took the dimmer switch from like full to like 60%. And it was really weird. Like I kept thinking like my lights weren't turned on all the way, or, I keep the lights on and I keep them on full blast all the time because it's comforting for me. Again, it's all I can see, so it's comforting. And I kept thinking like the lights weren't on. I keep the brightness on my computer screen at 100% because I can't really see what's on the screen, but like I can see that it's bright. And I kept trying to turn the brightness up thinking that it wasn't turned up all the way. And after a few days of doing that and asking my parents, like, are the lights on all the way? And them saying, yeah, like it looks the same, I kind of clicked and realized what that meant. That I had had a rather significant decrease in how much light I could see. And I took a few days to process it on my own. I didn't say it to anybody. I just took some time for myself to think about it. And then I let my family and loved ones know. And of course, like, it's emotional for everybody. It's not just my journey. I'm the one living it, but my loved ones feel what I feel. They feel for me. And so we all just like took time to process. Something I've noticed since losing more vision, and I don't know if it's a complete coincidence or if it is directly related. I can't say. I'm just sharing what I've experienced. Definitely an increase in balance issues. I have been dealing with severe vertigo. Obviously not all the time, but I've had vertigo for about 10 years, but I don't get it too often. But since the vision loss, like I like literally had to go to the doctor at one point because we were very concerned. I mean, I was literally physically rocking back and forth and couldn't stop it. I felt like I was walking on a ship all day. Another time my mom had to like hold me up to get me to bed to lay down because if I stood up I kept falling. So that increase in vertigo and its severity and its frequency has only happened since I lost a little bit more vision. So again, I can't say that it's related. I'm just trying to share what I've experienced. Balance issues and dizziness has always directly correlated with vision loss. When I lost a lot of vision in middle school, my dizziness and my balance issues increased. So I can only assume it's related, but I can't say that factually. Not all people who lose vision will experience, dizziness. Not all people who lose vision will experience vertigo. For me, I have. This is my personal experience. And I think it's really, really important to not judge other people, their abilities, what they go through, what they experience. It's so important not to judge or compare abilities and experiences, because just because two people have the same disease doesn't mean that disease is living in the same body. And so the way a disease might affect one body is different than another, especially when these are rare diseases that aren't, widely studied, and we don't know the full effect. And also certain bodies have other issues that are simultaneously happening, like other underlying conditions and whatnot. So it's really important not to compare. So just because I've experienced these things with vision loss doesn't mean everybody will. I've also had an increased amount of severe headaches and eye pain. Again, could be unrelated. However, when I lost the majority of my vision at 14 and even previous to that, I always struggled with very severe eye pain and headaches. So unfortunately, that's increased. I've had an increased feeling of being tired and overwhelmed. So those are some of the things that I've been feeling and experiencing. I feel like my flashing lights have increased, but that could just be in my head. But I feel like they've increased, which I didn't know was possible because there's already so many of them, or already was so many of them. But I feel like they have increased, and I especially notice them when I am exhausted, which was always the case. I especially notice them when I'm really tired or have a headache. So that's what it's been like for me in the last 6 weeks to 2 months. And I just want to share. This, for me, did not impact me as deeply emotionally as my first vision loss or my massive vision loss did at 14. It obviously wasn't as significant a vision shift. And also, I'm older and I've been through I've put a lot of work into acceptance. I've put a lot of time and effort into a lot of different forms of therapy and self-help to get to where I am today. But if you know somebody who lives with chronic illness or with disability and their situation shifts or changes, even if that change may seem minor to you, given what they already live with or go through, that doesn't mean it might not significantly impact them emotionally or their physical abilities. So it's important to keep that in mind, to just show love, compassion, support, empathy, to be an ear, a shoulder for people who are going through things. And this is another reminder that you never know what somebody is going through, because I think most likely by watching my YouTube videos, by watching my daily TikToks, my posts on Instagram over the last 2 months, you most likely had no idea that I was going through something. People are very good, at compartmentalizing, at coping, at handling these things. And so you just never know what somebody is going through. It is so much better to live with empathy, compassion, and an open mind towards others instead of judgment and negativity. It'll feel better for you, and it certainly feels better for everybody around you. If any of you feel comfortable who live with chronic illness, disability, or progressive conditions, share your experiences and your stories in the comment section below. I did speak with my ophthalmologist. I spoke with my eye specialist just to let her know. There's obviously nothing they can do. I just wanted to report it to her and let her know. Nobody can say, obviously for sure what triggered the vision loss, because there can be many things. Significant hormonal changes, stress levels, just simply aging. There's so many things that could trigger vision loss in people, so there's really no way to say what happened or why. That's where I'm at. That's my story. I let my folks over on my Patreon page know about a week ago, because they are like my little support group, my private little support group. And so to my patrons who showed so much love and support over this last week over there, I do appreciate you so much, and I appreciate all of you in the comments leaving support and love. I mean, maybe you're not, I just assume you are, so thank you, because you always do. And I really appreciate that. I appreciate the sponsor of this video, HelloFresh, for supporting this channel, supporting me, and supporting so many other amazing creators on this platform. So if you want to support me even further, some ways that you can do that is by hitting subscribe on this channel and the notification bell, by using code MollyBurke12 to get 12 free meals from HelloFresh, or by joining my private Patreon club. So I'll leave links to all that stuff down in the description box below. And I'm going to go enjoy another HelloFresh meal. So goodbye, and if you want more Molly, you can click over here to hear me talk about guide dog discrimination, or you can click over here to hear me answer the 10 most Googled questions about blindness. Okay, see you next time. Bye.